This is Marketing Uncomplicated.
Welcome back to the show, guys. Every now and then, someone walks into the business world and says, "Why are we all pretending this thing isn't broken?" And instead of writing a think piece about it, they build something that flips the entire category on its head. Today's guest is exactly that kind of human. I'm sitting down with Miki Agrawal, the entrepreneur force who has turned taboo topics into $500 million in revenue and sparked global conversation and process. She's built THINX when no one wanted to talk about periods, TUSHY when no one wanted to talk about poop, and now she's back to make us rethink plastic waste with fungi powered diapers. Yes, fungi. We'll talk more and we'll dig into that. What I love most about Miki is not just her fearlessness, but the creativity and intention behind it. She doesn't disrupt for shock value. She disrupts because the status quo is lazy and she knows who can do better. So today we're unpacking the real blueprint behind building daring companies, marketing that actually gets people thinking, and the mindset required to push an entire culture forward. Welcome to the show, Miki. It's so great to have you.
Thanks so much. So happy to be here.
So let's take a step back and dive into your origin story. So you've disrupted two industries most people would never touch. They're tough, especially the period care and bathroom hygiene. What was the first spark that made you see taboo topics as opportunities instead of landmines?
It's so interesting because people love to kind of analyze people. It's like, oh, you focus on taboo topics, or for me, it was just really solving a problem in my own life.
Yes.
Ultimately having period accidents every month. I was just very irresponsible with my period. And just like every month was like, oh my God, I'm making a mess. And it's just like everywhere I went, I would just stain everything. And I'm just like, okay, this is not ideal. And
Yes.
how is it possible that every woman still has period accidents? How is it possible that we're still using bleached, pads and these products that take 400 to 500 years to break down in landfills? And how are we putting that inside of our bodies? That's the most absorbent part of our body, is we're putting bleach toxins, dioxins inside of our body. It's just not cool. And so I was always like, is there a better way? Question. I think in my life, like growing up, half Indian, half Japanese in Montreal, Canada, just grew up really allowing at the dinner table to question everything, and just to not be pigeonholed to like one way of looking at something. And so because of that, it's like the Japanese perspective, the Indian perspective, the French perspective, the English perspective, and there was always a beautiful, healthy debate at the kitchen table. And so I think, like, fast forward to becoming an entrepreneur. My first business was the restaurant. I created the first gluten-free farm-to-table pizza restaurant in New York City when Joe's Pizza was like the only thing that New York was really accepted, but want to create the alternative version of pizza that was made with gluten-free flours, hormone-free cheeses, local seasonal toppings, etc. And really learned from that early days in my 20s, how important it is to meet people where they are, and then how to bring them into a new way of being through inspired action. And so from the restaurants, which by the way, this month, like actually yesterday, officially November 25th, marked my 20-year anniversary
Oh,
of my
wow.
restaurant being open. So
Wow.
we've been open for 20 years in New York City. Check out Wild.
That's freaking awesome.
It's insane.
Yeah.
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 And so I opened it when I was 5 years old. I'm just kidding. And so yeah, from the restaurants, and starting THINX, it was just sort of, and then Tushy and now Hero, it really ultimately came down to solving everyday problems, like what we put in our mouth, what we put on our bodies, like what we use as a woman to menstruate, what we do every single day for lucky couple of times a day is go to the bathroom and poop,
Yeah. Yeah.
and as a mom, you change a diaper, like, I was going through 20 diapers a day when I first had Hero, because he had such a sensitive bottom to all the toxins, dioxins, bleach on what was in current diapers. And so
Yeah.
I was just like, wow, like there has to be a better way. And I think from that lens, it really allowed for innovation to come through. And so
Yeah.
it happened to be in personal hygiene, but because it's the thing that we do every day, and it happens to not have been solved because people are so uncomfortable talking about it, therefore there's very little innovation when you're not talking about something. You just do the thing that you've been doing since the 1800s, Meanwhile, we're talking on the phone right now over Wi-Fi network, and yet the minute we step into the bathroom, poof, we're back into the 1800s. Like, it makes zero sense. And why? Because we're uncomfortable talking about our poop. It's like, whatever.
Yeah.
You
I love that. I love that you talk about how your family, culture and bringing that in really established that conversation to build out, to allow you as a child to just really grow and to have that spark in your mindset that anything can be discussed. And therefore, while some of us think it's taboo, the rest of us are like, it's just a conversation. It's a conversation about everyday life. And these are things that happen. It's bodily functions. Why should we feel awkward about talking about it? And I
know,
think more so, being half European myself, I think the US keeps a certain standard of awkwardness across the board,
right.
as it relates to certain things. Like everything is so, ooh, let's not talk about it, So, I mean, good for you on pushing that. I love it, and I love your family for allowing those conversations to happen.
Thank you. Yeah, I do think that once you do actually open the dialogue, people actually want to have the conversations. Like, that's the part that was really interesting to me. It's like people are like, oh my God, you're talking about something so taboo and uncouth, but then all of a sudden becomes a topic of conversation at the dinner table. It
Hmm.
becomes a topic of conversation with amongst women. It becomes a topic of conversation amongst mothers, because these are questions that people have. It's like, wait, is this really what I'm having to deal with every month on my period? Is this really wiping with dry paper and smearing poop around and sitting on fecal matter all day, which then promotes chronic UTIs, hemorrhoids, fissures, bacterial vaginosis, yeast infection, all that stuff, because you're not properly cleaning yourself down there? And people who have like GI issues and soft poops and don't have proper whatever, it's just so millions and millions of
Yep.
people, and they're just quietly suffering and having to jump in the shower or just sit on their poop. It's just gross. And so it's like,
Yes.
as soon as you have these conversations, you're like, wait a minute, like, wow, like everyone wants to talk about it. And same thing with mom, new parents, when you're just like, wow, the amount of waste that we're creating having a baby it makes me feel sick to my stomach. But I feel like everyone's doing it, so I guess I'm just going to follow the pack. But in my mind and body, I'm like, is this really the trash we're leaving our kids behind with? And who's going to process that trash? Wait a minute, diapers take 400 to 500 years to break down. Wait, the first
Nuts.
disposable diaper is still somewhere in a landfill today. Wait, 100 billion diapers end up in landfills annually, which now all that plastic is leaching into our mismanaged and leaching into our rivers, our water systems, and now entering our brains, bloodstreams, and umbilical cords of our babies, and our hormonal and our reproductive organs. No. And so it's sort of like, all of a sudden you just start questioning, and you're like, and then all of a sudden you open the dialogue of these conversations, and parents are like, oh, like, I'm so glad you're happy. I feel the same way, but I don't know if what other options do we have? And like, what other offerings do we have? And all of a sudden it's like, oh, here's a pair of underwear. Here's a bidet. Here's a diaper
Hmm.
that's the only unbleached diaper on the market that comes with these little friendly fungi pouches that can break them down. They're designed to break them down after they end up in the trash. Like, wow, that feels so much better to me. And what else now can it open up to allow me to talk about, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just these, to me, I call like, they're like these gateway products that open up these taboo conversations, which then allows you to look at the rest of your life as well, which is what's interesting about it.
Yeah, and I love that you bring up the point of, people are silently suffering. There was a podcast that I listened to the other day, just in terms of, women that, go through menopause, that it's almost like an accolade that they wear on their shoulders. Like, yeah, I suffer, I go through pain. My pain threshold is a 10 or 11 or 12. Nobody should be going through these type of things in life. And we should be, educated, or have these options to live a better life. And then, to your point, all of the products that are leading down into disrupting our world and our community as it sits itself. So, you know great on the sense of disrupting both ends of the spectrum, because most products don't even do that. They think about the one portion of it, but not the rest. And as we'll dig into the fungi part, I mean, just as I think we're the only part of the food chain that doesn't really break down the way everything else does, or we're not supported by the ecosystem. And fungi are an incredible species.
No, it's actually opposite. We are supported by the ecosystem. We just forgot our
Yes,
interconnectedness with
yes.
the ecosystem,
Thank you.
and as a result, we just forgot how to, practice this
Be
sacred
part of it. Yes.
reciprocity. Yeah, this beautiful reciprocal journey between life, death, transformation, life, death, transformation, or life transformation, death transformation, life transformation.
Yes,
And
yes.
it's this like beautiful cycle that we forgot that natural cycle. And obviously because of that, it's creating so much problems because we're not learned or trained or how to go through that transformation and death cycle to then come back and rebirth, especially when it comes to our waste streams. And
Yes,
so,
yes.
and so like how do you think about the end of life, like how nature works? It's so beautifully like, I finally planted a garden with my partner, and we like put seeds in our mouth and we planted them in our beds over there, in our garden beds. And then we watched these beautiful watermelon and squash and peppers and basil and chamomile grow. And then and then we eat them. They grow, we get the fruit, we eat them, and then we take the seeds, and now we're going to replant the seeds. And it's
Yes.
just and then and the rest of it,
Cycle.
the earth. It's this beautiful regenerative cycle. And I think
Yes.
we've lost touch with that last part, the regeneration piece, where it's like we're thinking about clean products. Okay, so like that's the next. It's like how do we remove all the toxins, all the dioxins? How do we remove it to make it clean for us? But the way that what we're tuning into is like regeneration is the new clean.
Yes.
Regenerative is the next clean. Yes, you
Yeah.
want clean, then you have to think about what is that regenerative model of what you're creating in the world and
Yeah,
how to.
thanks for clarifying that because you are absolutely right. We have disconnected ourselves from it completely and we keep removing ourselves further away from it. And but there are folks like you and others that are pulling us back. And not to get into AI as with every conversation, but I feel as fast as AI is moving, there is also some kind of stillness that's happening within that I think is going to take us back to a lot of things that, before the dot-com boom and all of that, to bring us back to our nature, our originality, and really that regeneration that you talk about. So
Yes.
yeah, yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the anatomy of a disruptor. What's your lens for spotting problems the world has normalized?
Yeah. So I always ask myself three questions before I start any business. The first is what sucks in my world. It has to start with me. It's a problem that starts in my life. And then the second question is, does it suck for a lot of people? Because if it's a pain point for a lot of people, then there's an opportunity to really challenge the status quo, right? And then the third question is, can I be passionate about this issue, cause, or community for a really long time? Oftentimes you're like, oh, here's a pain point in the world, but like, I don't really care about it. So can I really sit in the discomfort of entrepreneurship for 10 years, but like not really caring about what I'm doing? So you have to really tune in to, what you care about. So for me, it's like, can I be passionate about food and where food comes from and what I put in my mouth? Yes. That's why my restaurant's been around for 20 years.
Yeah.
And can I be passionate about women and liberating women's shame from something that literally creates human life, women's period? Yes. For the rest of my life, I will be an advocate for that. Can I be passionate about saving 15 million trees from getting flushed down the toilet to make toilet paper that doesn't even properly clean you? The thing that literally gives us oxygen, that takes in carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, nitrogen dioxide, and literally transforms it miraculously into oxygen for us to breathe, these beautiful trees, and we're chopping them down and wiping
No.
our butts disrespectfully with them. Is that really what we're doing right now? And so it's like, let's again, like, can I be passionate about that for the rest of my life? We have funded resoiling and reforestry projects all over South America with the proceeds of TUSHY. We have funded the build out of toilets for over 60,000 families to support the global
I
sanitation
love it.
crisis in
Yeah.
India. Like, these are things I care about, absolutely. And then come here. And then my son, Hero, is the one who inspired the idea for Hero. Do you want to just share the idea of how it came to be?
I was 2 years old, and I came. My mom was
Nice to meet you.
A couple 100 million years ago, fungi were able to break down trees. So millions of years later, scientists figured out that plastic and trees have the same carbon backbone. So which means that fungi can decompose plastics too. And then one day it was a thinking Friday for my mom, and
Thinking Friday, I love it.
she thought that if breast milk is liquid gold, then baby poop must be fertilizer gold. As my mom was thinking this, I was 2 years old, and I came running into my mom's room, and I pointed to a book in her nightstand and said Pachamama, which means Mother Earth. And then
Well, there's a pause. Let's just pause for 1 second because
it's almost. And then on page 31, it revealed that fungi can decompose minerals like plastic. So that means, so my mom so they were actually so they found the answer to one of the biggest global crises. Skip to 4+ years later. My mom created an interdisciplinary team of entrepreneurs and scientists to help solve the global plastic crisis.
Oh my goodness, Hero, that was incredible. I might have to have you on as a guest myself.
yeah,
I love that. That was so organic. Incredible.
no, it was literally a Friday thinking day where I don't take calls or meetings on Fridays, and I just like really allow for creative ideas to download. And on a
Yes.
thinking day, I was like, wait a minute, breast milk is liquid gold, so therefore baby poop must be fertilizer gold. And and so it's like, wait, what if when the baby poops into the diaper, the baby poop can fertilize something in the diaper to grow and eat the diaper, and
Yeah.
self-impose the diaper instead of 400 to 500 years that a diaper takes to decompose in a landfill. And so when I was asking myself like what could break down plastic was when Hero came running to my room as a 2-year-old, pointing to a book in my nightstand, and I opened the book and it said fungi can break down plastic.
Explain Hero in simple terms for parents listening. What is the nature-inspired plastic-eating fungi?
Yes. And so literally like just like Hero said, fungi have been around for, over 1 billion years. So they were the first beings to literally take in rocks and spit out dirt. And that really created our
Incredible.
world underneath us. And 390 million years ago or so, trees were formed. The carbon backbone of trees were formed, called lignin, so allowing the trees to stand up straight. And it took fungi like 70 to 90 million years to figure out how to break down the carbon backbone of these trees. So in those 70 to 90 million years, which is a lot of time, when dead trees and animals would die, like dinosaurs and dead trees would fall, they would just be strewn around the planet like plastic, basically like waste, and they weren't able to return to the earth. And so in that period of 70 to 90 million years, think about it, we've only been around for thousands of years, 70 to 90 million years, all of those dead trees and dead animals were being compressed and compressed and compressed into the earth. The earth keeps forming and keeps, creating layers, and all these animals were getting compressed into the ground. And that compression of dead trees and dead animals became our fossil fuels.
Yeah.
And so what do fossil fuels create? Plastic. Where do plastic come from? Fossil fuels. Where do fossil fuels come from? Dead trees and dead animals, compressed. So therefore, if fungi learned how to digest the carbon backbone of trees, they, of course, then know how to digest the carbon backbone of plastic because it's all carbon based. And so we just didn't kind of grok that,
Put the 2 and 2 together.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so 20 years ago, these Yale researchers and these Japanese scientists found fungi growing in landfills,
Amazing.
out of plastic. And so, took them out of a lab. And so it's been discovered and researched for a very long time. There's been hundreds of studies and papers conducted around plastic eating fungi and their ability to break down plastic. And so we're not, again, reinventing the wheel here. What we've spent the last 4.5 years doing with our incredible interdisciplinary team, as Hiro said, of PhDs in mycology, PhDs in microremediation, in biology, PhD in chemistry. Like we have truly the Ocean's 11 of, people who are trying to figure out this problem together with the top diaper engineer that we brought in from Procter and Gamble to the top people to really, really solve this problem. Like could actually fungi break down the carbon backbone of plastic in a real life, real use case way? And the reason why we started with diapers is because diapers are the number 1 household plastic waste item, number 3 waste item in a landfill, and 75% of soft plastics that you find in the world are found in diapers. So if you can solve diapers, you can literally solve this giant plastic problem. And so we've been really focusing on solving the, first, making the most amazing diaper that then comes with fungi that can break it down. So here's how it works. So first of all, if you go to Hiro, Hiro diapers, it's pronounced Hiro, Hiro diapers.com, you can really see how, how it all comes together, and you can really learn about it, but I can share some now. And so just so you also know, fungi, we have a mycobiome inside of us in addition to a microbiome. So inside of our bodies lives fungi, a fungal kingdom. Without that beneficial fungi living inside of us, we would be dead. Without the beneficial fungi outside on the planet, literally connecting our entire world together, we would be dead. And so when we think about fungi, sometimes people are like, fungi, is it like scary and bad and like foot fungus? We're like, no, this is that's like a small subset of, negative types. Just like in our bodies, there's good bacteria and bad bacteria. We take in probiotics now because we learned that the more good bacteria we have, it serves our ecosystem inside of us. And so in the same way, just like there's good fungi, there's bad fungi, there's beneficial fungi, and then there's ones that are deleterious to us. We've looked at only the beneficial fungi, culinary grade, non-toxic, that are supportive of humans, that you can actually eat it, but don't eat it, but you can eat it.
Yes.
That's safe, that beneficial for us. So that's kind of the moat that we were working within. That's the boundaries we're working with. They have to be beneficial. They have to break down plastic. They have to, have been known to do that in, a real life use case. Like for example, the ones found in landfills. So we spent the last 4.5 years literally collecting over 1 million data points and whittling it down to figuring out that, the top thousands of strains to the top hundreds of strains, to the top 30, to the top blend of beneficial fungi that are designed to break down the diapers. And so how it works is the first thing I learned, and you talk to, the head of Google X, or the founders of the Google innovation. The number one thing we've had a conversation about it as well, but the number one thing he shares is that you can't change culture without a truly best-in-class product, right?
I love that. Let's repeat that. You can't change culture without a truly best-in-class product. Yes.
So for us with THINX, as an example, we couldn't have changed culture and helped divert hundreds of millions of tampons, pads, and applicators from landfills if we didn't create an incredible product that women want to actually wear.
Yes,
right?
Because there were also people that came after you as well, brands that came after you that just fell off,
And they sucked. Their products
and they sucked.
Yeah. Or
you guys thought about every detail. To your point, best in class is detailed.
Absolutely. Every single layer, how your body breathes with it, how it works together, how it makes you feel when you put it on. Can you still move? Does it feel like regular underwear? We thought about all of that. With TUSHY, we thought about, literally there were like maybe 30 or 40 competitors that literally copied us and tried to do the same, but they didn't have truly the best in class product. Like we have the best bidet on the market. And I can say that shouting from the rooftops, the best bidet attachment that has literally, we call it the smart spray technology that literally
Yes.
sprays this precise stream of like the right amount of pressure,
Right.
water
Which matters.
on your body. Because like some houses have like high water pressure, some houses have low water pressure. So we created this smart spray technology that, first of all, self cleans itself twice before and after every use. So it's clean. If there's multiple people in your household, if you have guests, you know that it's an absolutely clean nozzle. And then when you turn it on, it's the perfect pressure of spray. Like we have thought through, and then it has to look beautiful in your toilet, not like some weird contraption that looks like something's wrong with you, but actually it's like an upgrade to your bathroom that you want to bring to your friends to and show them. Like that's the kind of like detailed thinking that we've thought through across the board of creating Tushy. And then Hero, we literally,
and not to interrupt you again, but to your point, it's going back to taboo conversations that actually become on the table conversations because you're so proud of everything because it has the attention to detail. And it's not that you have shifted the innovation piece of it, but it's the feeling that one has and the excitement that you bring up from it that becomes the conversation and slashes the taboo out of the park.
That's you've literally hit it on the head. That's exactly right. That excitement removes the taboo because you're like, oh my God, I love that nugget. That's really,
because it's as simple as I'm not getting off of my toilet having been splashed at and needing a towel to like wipe myself down because I'm extra wet now, but it's the perfect amount that it's a dab. I'm putting my clothes back on and I'm out the door.
100%. I love exactly. That's exactly right.
So you were talking Hero.
So then now when we came to creating Hero, like we really set out to create truly the best in class diaper. There are many diapers in the market. You know, there's like Pampers, there's whatever, there's Coterie, which Coterie has 50% more plastic than, you know,
it's horrible.
and you know, it's just, that's why it works so well. Like you actually, the more plastic, the more performance. Like that's, but it takes like even longer to break down in a landfill, right? And has bleach anyways or something. So like there's so many different diapers that exist on the market, right? What we set out to create is really the first unbleached diaper on the market, made like it's the lightest, the softest. If you look inside, it's the only one that's not white because all these diaper companies are like white equals clean, bleach equals clean. We're like, no, bleach equals dioxins, toxins leaching into your baby's skin. No, we don't want that. We're the first and only unbleached diaper in the market. It's the lightest diaper, but it's made with up to 50% less plastic than leading brands. And the reason why we still have a little bit is so that it can actually perform. You know, bamboo diapers or other, you know, type diapers, they don't perform that are eco. But by the way, bamboo is greenwashing. It's also made with viscose, which is basically the way it's processed turns into like viscose, which is like 1 degree from plastic, and it's bleached and still has a line. It's just, it's all greenwashing. So we've really, really looked at the category. We looked at the layers. We looked at the materials that exist out there in the world. We really, really thought through the actual creation of the product, because why would we want to enter a category that's another one of the same, even if it comes with fungi that can break it down? Like that is, you know, a huge part of our value proposition. But the diaper has to work. The diaper has to be the best in class. The diaper has to be the most clean unbleached diaper out there. The diaper has to really be the softest unbleached diaper out there. We partner with local American cotton farms that literally make the softest cotton that's unbleached. It's the first that creates this like toxic free process, versus so much cotton is also bleached and put through these processes that even if it's a cotton diaper, it's still full of dioxins and toxins and bleach. And so for us, we're like, we set out to create the lightest, the lowest footprint possible of a diaper that still performed. Like if you look at, we got our claims back, third-party claims, up to 5 times drier than leading brands. It absorbs up to 3 times faster than leading diapers. So like the diaper works. But the best part about it is it comes with these little pouches. Every single diaper comes with these little pouches that when you're taking the diaper off the baby or changing the diaper, whether it's a pee diaper or a poop diaper, as long as it has moisture inside, you take this pouch. It looks like a little tea bag. You drop the whole thing inside. You don't even have to open it. You don't do anything. You just drop the whole thing in and you close it and you throw it in the trash. That's it.
And it takes care of itself.
We call it one inspired action. Our mission is to
Wow.
create truly the world's first self-composting diaper in under 12 months instead of 400 to 500 years. That is our hero's journey mission, and we are on our way. This is truly our 1.0 product. It's literally like you'll see, like we put this in our lab, and you can start to see the lactase enzyme. Like if you go to our LinkedIn profile on Hero Technologies, you can actually see the enzyme lactase emerging from this. And that lactase enzyme is one of the enzymes that has been known to break down plastic. And so we really are showing that what's inside of here is so much more beneficial than not doing anything at all.
Yes.
If you're not throwing it away, it's going to take 400 to 500 years. Just taking one inspired action is going to reduce the time of it in a landfill. Like our mission is self-composting in under 12 months. Like that is our really major goal, and it requires every parent to join us on this hero's journey.
Yes, I love it. I love it. You've also taken care of, those really truly, green families that have been doing the not the disposable diapers, but the reusable diapers.
Yes.
Because a lot of people, they want to give back, but it's the ick in the reusable diapers, right?
50% of parents buy reusable diapers, and only 2% actually go past the first month, because it's just like, I did it. I bought $500 worth of reusable diapers, and I like these washable cloth diapers. And I literally was like recovering from my C-section, doubled over with a mask on, trying to clean the poop out of there. I was just like, it's
a lot.
This is not going to work for me. And and
and this is coming from somebody like you who really sees the full spectrum in the cycle of life and nature and all of that, right?
And 66% of mothers now are primary or co-breadwinners.
Yes.
And so now, as a primary or co-breadwinner, I'm now expected to go make the money, take care of the household, cook the food, breastfeed,
clean the diapers,
and then clean the diapers. It's just like, come on, you know what? Like, diapers are an essential product. It really is. So what we're doing at Hero is we really, really looked at the reduce, reuse, recycle frame. That's everyone's like, reduce, reuse, recycle. We've been looking at that for years, and we're like, this is a flawed model. Recycling is complete greenwashing. 91% of plastic is not being recycled. It's being put in our landfills, in our oceans, incinerated and mismanaged. And that mismanaged plastic is what's ending in our rivers, ending in our water, and ending in our brains, our bloodstreams, and our reproductive organs, and now our babies' umbilical cords. And so it's like to really think through like what we're doing to our ecosystem. Challenge. Now, what's so important to me as a parent living in modern world is the importance of meeting parents where they are. So looking at this reduce, reuse, recycle model, recycling is bullshit. Reusing is better, but it still requires washing and energy and washing and changing hands and washing and changing hands and still like vinegar and this and that and then washing and so much pain in the process of having to do it. So to me, reusing also has challenges. And so we really looked at that model, and we reframed it and recreated it to reduce, regenerate.
All of that. Yes.
Reduce, regenerate. Instead of reduce, reuse, recycle, it's now reduce, regenerate. Reduce, regenerate.
I love that.
What does that look like at Hero? How are we putting that in practice? We are teaching parents how to get out of diapers in 12 to 18 months instead of 3, 4, sometimes now 5 years babies are in pull-ups. Like, the diaper industry is trying to create delayed potty training so that the baby's in diapers for longer, so you can actually collect more money and thousands of dollars from the baby.
It's consumption.
For longer and consume more.
Yeah.
What we're doing is we're teaching parents elimination communication. We create a framework called Easy EC, Easy Elimination Communication, to literally learn the cues of the baby. Kind of like when you can tell a baby's hungry or tired, you're like, oh, they have to go to the bathroom. Let's quickly put them over the potty or over the sink or over over the toilet, or you can get a little tiny potty. And literally you're training your baby to be potty trained in 12 to 18 months instead of literally 3, 4, 5 years. You're saving thousands of dollars. You're cutting your plastic consumption by a quarter. And it's like,
and teaching habits at such an early on
eco-forward habits, right?
Yes.
And so for us, we're teaching parents how to reduce your consumption, reduce your diaper waste. Even if we're a diaper company, we're here to meet you where you are. Like, one of the things that I've learned is like, go to cloth diapers or you're a bad eco parent. And you're like, no, don't shame me. You don't know my life. You don't know how hard it is to try to be a working parent and trying to do it all. Go, screw yourself. Like, I don't. And then you're going to be even more vehemently using more diapers and being more, versus saying, hey, I hear you. I'm one of you. I'm an eco parent. I want to do the best for my baby. I don't want to leave my baby with so much waste. I don't want to do that. And yet I'm exhausted by the time I get home. I'm a working parent. I can't do it all. And I don't want to be kept to a standard of perfection. I need help. And so what we've done is we're going to teach you how to potty train. First of all, when you're potty train your baby, it's going to be so much more easeful for you. They don't have to change a diaper all the time. They're out of diapers earlier. And then the second part is regenerate, reduce, regenerate. What does that mean? We are going to tune in and partner with nature to reclaim our regenerative cycle with the planet.
What we talked about earlier.
Regenerative is the new clean. Regenerative is the future that we want to leave our babies behind with, is reconnecting ourselves to this natural sacred reciprocity cycle that we have with nature. And again, I always talk about this where it's like, you know, we go from this I, me, before we have a baby, we're like, I, me, I. And then all of a sudden you go through this one-way doorway of maiden to mother, of bachelor to father. It's a one-way doorway you're never going to go back from. Yeah. And then you go from this I, me consciousness into this us, we consciousness. Now, what I'm hoping, so the us, we consciousness that we're currently in is going from me to my family. What is my baby going to eat? What is my baby putting on? What do I have in my household? What's going in my house? But you're not actually considering the ecosystem that your baby's growing up in. And if you're not considering the full ecosystem your baby's growing up in, it doesn't matter if your single family is okay right now. There are only 40 harvests left with our soil, unless we truly change something. There's going to be more plastic in the ocean than fish by 2050.
Oh yeah.
We have to change the ecosystem that we're leaving our babies behind with. What's the point of having children if literally they're going to be dead because our ecosystem is completely tarnished? So we have to, as parents, as people, start going beyond ourselves, going beyond our little single family or beyond our tiny little community, into a true ecosystem consciousness where we're actually tuning into how does the rest of our ecosystem play into how my family is growing up in. Because what you're going to be full of like more disease, more plastic, more toxins entering our bodies, more cancer,
more illness. Yes.
It's like, what's the point of having children? We're like, my baby. It's like it's a selfish concept if you're not thinking about the ecosystem that your baby's growing up in. And so that's what we're excited to teach at Hero, is meeting you where you are, not making you be wrong in any way. We understand the essential need of diapers, but we're going to teach you how to get out of them as fast as possible. And then also teach you this ecosystem consciousness. What are other ways you can be an ecosystem conscious, new eco-forward parent? Here's how you compost. 24% of all landfill waste is food waste. Can we actually get a little composter at our house and put our food scraps in there, and then turns into an electric composter is like a couple $100. You can you can even get one for $100 maybe, and you throw all your food scraps in there and it turns into soil, and you just bring it outside. If you live in a city, you can put it by your tree in your neighborhood. Like, it becomes a ritual that you can do with your baby, and all of a sudden you're like participant in helping this really waste stream that we're leaving our someone else with. You know. And so it's like, that's 24% of landfill waste. Diapers are the number one household plastic waste item. You remove a quart, like two-thirds or three-quarters of that waste by teaching your baby elimination communication, by buying products that are regenerative in principle, that can break down, that are designed to break down in much less, long of a time, so it returns to the earth faster and better. Like, yes, we can do these, what I call them, one inspired actions. You can take one inspired actions. You don't pass the buck. You don't say someone else's problem, I have nothing else. It's like every one of us can boycott plastic bottles and just start getting, literally just get
yes.
If you literally boycott plastic bags and just bring a canvas bag with you everywhere you go, it's just not challenging. It's like, I literally don't even carry a purse. I literally bring a canvas bag with me everywhere I go. And I just use that for everything. It's not, it just becomes a habit. You start to like, my son, even Hero, he says no to plastic on planes. Like, he's like, do not give me a plastic bottle. I don't want it. We bring up our water bottles, but if he wants something, if he wants a juice or something, he'll ask for it in a paper cup. Like, it's just like learning the practices of just,
and then teaching them at a younger age.
Early. Like, he loves his TUSHY bidet. He's using so much less toilet paper. The kids right now are wrapping toilet paper around their hands because they don't know the consumption, what that looks like. Whereas now he's clean. He's just using a couple of squares to pat dry. Like, you're teaching them little tiny things that have a massive impact if everybody does it together.
It's habituation. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, what I love about everything that you just said, to kind of, bring it back full circle, is not only that, and how you talked about, we can boycott plastic. Maybe somebody needs to go out and create a bottle, and I believe there is something like that that's out there that decomposes a lot faster. You didn't give the parent the opportunity to boycott other brands. You're giving them an opportunity to stick within what they're used to, but to also give back and to regenerate and so on and so forth. And then from a full spectrum, not just a best in class product that you guys have developed, there's education there at the end of the day. And there's removal of consumption, which is just getting out of hand. I mean, it's just going crazier.
So easy. One swipe and you get this, and one swipe and you get that, one swipe and you get this. And like, I haven't bought clothes. Like, I bought a couple of cute little hats from Etsy, from like these grandmas who are like, I'm online, and that's still reusing. There still requires some transportation, but it's cut down on all this single use.
Absolutely.
Fast fashion is the number one thing in landfills right now.
100%.
It's just like crappy clothes. And so let's just stop fast fashion. Let's just stop using plastic bags. Let's stop using plastic bottles. Let's use the least amount of essential products possible. Let's partner with regenerative products. Let's just vote with our dollars. I say the biggest investor in the world are the people.
Yes. Oof, I love that.
People are the ones who are going to change culture. It's not like, Jeff Bezos is the biggest investor. It's like every person's dollar, it's like
100%. 100%. I do want to get into marketing, but before we switch, what has surprised you the most about building in biotech versus consumer products?
Say that one more time.
What has surprised you the most about building in biotech versus a consumer product?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Biotech is the next, I would say, evolution for me as an entrepreneur, because we do have a consumer product, and we now have an R&D arm that's really, really working towards like truly creating this, self-composting diaper in under 12 months, self-composting absorbent products in under 12 months. Like, that is its own full-time job. And then we're also manufacturing our fungi. Do you know anyone else who's making shelf-stable fungi? No. We're the only ones in the world.
To not only just to decompose the diaper, but to decompose anything else.
And so we're having to figure out how to manufacture, first of all, how to freeze, how to like grow and cultivate these fungi that can break down plastic. They're beneficial. To then cryo freeze them so that they're just like in this bag, just inert right now. But then when they get re-wet by your baby's poop or pee in a couple of weeks, they start to wake up and grow in the landfill or where they end up, and so in the environment. And so like that requires a lot of just its own focus. And then there's a third part, which is manufacturing them. Now you have to scale it from lab to benchtop to then rooms full of these little beings that can be then cryo-frozen, freeze-dried, and then turned into these little pouches, by the way, which was so complicated for us, was to make these pouches. It was one of the hardest parts for our team, was like, these little pouches.
Absolutely.
And so that was such a challenge. And then this is like, again, our first iteration of it. Eventually we're going to put our mycotechnology directly embedded in the diaper. It's safer than the diaper itself. It's safer than the plastic itself. And we're training parents to reconnect with their beneficial fungi that live inside of us. They're like probiotics for the diaper. Like, it's good for the baby,
Love that.
Diaper, good for the planet. Like, we are putting the probiotics inside the diaper, for the planet. And that's going to go and for the baby, of course. And so that's, that's our next iteration is getting them inside. But for now, it's one inspired action. You drop them in, and we're manufacturing these pouches, and eventually we'd like to manufacture these pouches for other uses as well.
Yes, I can see it. I'm already seeing where your brain is going because I know it goes 100 miles an hour, which is why you have Think Fridays.
Yeah.
Let's dive in. Obviously, the beautiful product, but getting it to market. I mean, it's the creative marketing that breaks through. And in this particular case, there's an educational component which drives a different type of marketing. You've built brands that thrive on humor, honesty, and taboo busting, as we've talked about. What's your creative process for crafting marketing that people actually talk about? And maybe it's not the marketing piece, but it's the actual, storytelling.
Yeah, I think the first part is making it really artful and really fun to watch and really friendly. If you go to Hero Diapers, HIRO diapers.com, you can actually see our website. It's like, and compare that to any other diaper company, it's like art. We made art. We turned this beautiful nature-based art piece on our website that you can feel truly inspired by, to really want to join this journey, this hero's journey with us, where nature can heal nature together, an end-to-end solution together with nature. Like we want to really share that in an artful way. So I think art disarms you and makes you lean in. You're like, wow, that's so beautiful. I want to see what.
So we were talking about the educational part and getting to market and the beautiful design aspect of
Yes.
it.
Yeah. And then accessible, relatable language, which is also like it's a critical part, that to really, can you share what I'm saying to someone else in a really quick way? Like the world's first, unbleached diaper that's, designed to self-compost in under 12 months. Like that's pretty crazy awesome, with the help of little friendly fungi. And so, yeah, I think that's an important one. And then, of course, having a best-in-class product that people are just like, this diaper works. It's the softness. It feels so good. Like my baby doesn't have diaper rash. When I tried other diapers, I had diaper rash. Now it doesn't anymore. Like I feel so safe wearing Hero diapers because I really trust it. And so like that's, what we care about the most. And so, yeah, just to kind of, if you want to learn more, you can literally check out herodiapers.com, or you can follow us on Instagram, our Hero's Journey on Instagram on @HeroDiapers. And then I talk a lot about soft power, which is a new frame of how to build business, from this old paradigm of trauma scale, extractive, more take, into this regenerative receivership, like collaborative, nature-based, regenerative model. And so it's this really an energetic attunement that I believe will create 100x impact and return.
Absolutely.
Through soft power, so that you can follow me on @Miki Agrawal on Instagram. And then you can find out, you can read all about soft power.
Yes, well, we're going to link all of the details, even the one link that you. Yes, and the one link, and the one link that you talked about that's on LinkedIn, I'm going to place that on the bottom. But before we let you go, Miki, and it's been an incredible conversation in terms of, just the background and the build up and really educational. So, but we do one thing, and it is, we'll shoot some questions at you, whatever comes to mind, just respond. So one word, if you had to describe the next chapter of your life in one word, what would it be?
Creation and regeneration.
Regeneration. I love that. One myth. What's one myth about entrepreneurship, disruption, or creativity that you wish we would finally retire?
This individual consciousness. We need to get to ecosystem consciousness.
Yes, and we talked a lot about that today. One habit. What is one habit you believe every entrepreneur, whether new or seasoned, should start tomorrow?
Just take one inspired action every day towards your goal, and that's 365 actions per year. Even if you take 2 months off, that's 300 actions per year. You're going to build something magical if you really do one inspired action every day.
That's beautiful, Miki, and I love that we're ending on that. So thank you again for your time today. It's been fantastic.
Yay. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you.